everybody. My name is Paul from Paul's Beauty Warehouse. I'm here sitting with Morono, the inventor, the innovator, and also the owner of N1 Innovative Hair Barber Studio. So today we want to discuss about the new trend, but at the same time the trend that he created, but now with the Babyliss Gold FX787G now coming out with their skeleton of their own. But there's definitely history behind it. So let's talk a little bit more about the history of the skeleton trimmer.
Okay, well, the history of this is a tool that I noticed about 10 years ago. I saw a Spanish guy using a particular tool on stage. It wasn't popular in the industry. It wasn't called the skeleton, but just based off of me understanding marketing, I seen a benefit in that particular tool. So what happened is I pulled it away from that show. I cut it. I brought it back to Washington, D.C. I put a curriculum behind it and attached that name to it. And then I actually went inside the components of the tool and made the tool perform a whole lot better. And what happened is I put it up and posted it on social media and cut the device, and it went and caused like a frenzy in the industry. So what happened after that, you started to see everybody started cutting the trimmers over and over again. And that's really a short synopsis of the history of the skeleton tool.
The skeleton trimmer was a phenomenon. I remember I saw it when I first started out. I think it was one of the most innovative ideas, but you really made it popular in this industry. What was the advantage of the skeleton, that cutting of that piece that made it work?
Okay, the advantages of it, I'm going to show you here on this one. But the advantages of it, you were able to go around the ear. When you're in the motion of going around at the helix or the conjunction of the ear, the case doesn't fall in the way. When you turn the particular tool upside down, you don't have the case in a position where it infringes on your nose. So you can see over and under the blade because the case is not revealed this way. You can oil the heel and the toe of the blade.
Wow. Okay.
And you can access your tension screw. And it wouldn't allow hair to build up inside of the case because hair with gravity falls down, and you use the tool in this particular manner, it doesn't allow hair to come back into the tool. And what happens is once you get hair that comes back into the tool, it can cause insulation, and that can cause the tool to heat up. But you're able to, like I say, you're able to see how the blade runs, the performance of the blade. You're able to hold the heel and the toe. You can see over and under the blade, but those are some of the major benefits for the skeleton.
That's great. I know you had a little chance to use this, the new gold trimmer from Babyliss. What is your first thought, and what is your feedback on this product?
This particular product is pros and cons to it. It's a benefit. Like I said, I always try to be a just individual when I'm giving my assessment with tools. But there are pros and cons. Actually, right here on the back, it was a benefit for me to see that you were able to do this and unscrew the blade with a screwdriver. But going into this particular tool, actually to set the tool or calibrate the tool, you have to then go look for another device, which would be an Allen wrench. And you got to change your tool. So this can be a degree of a disadvantage. Then setting the tool is something that's really been challenging in our industry, setting the tool. So even holding the Allen wrench, as small as an Allen wrench is, and the smallest Allen wrench, that can be a little challenging getting the blade to set properly, doing it by eye. Actually, as it relates to the blade executing the performance of the particular tool, the blade, once you apply or attach the blade to the skin or the hair across in that cross section, it's going to cut. It's going to generally cut. And what happened is you have to go over that area more than once or twice. And based off of the particular things that I teach, it's just like riding in a Porsche in a Corvette. If you ever rode in a Corvette and then rode in a Porsche, a Corvette wouldn't be as much impressive to you anymore. So I speak from a higher elevation. But generally, if you're that barber that just based off of general information, it's going to work fine for you. But elevate it into understanding the detailed components of what this particular tool does, you might want to put yourself in a position to understand it a lot more further in order that you get the results that you want out of it. As it relates to gripping and grabbing the hair, yes, the tool grips or grabs the hair, but you're always going to see those little speck hairs. And a lot of barbers know what I mean when I talk about the speck hairs. That's after you cut the hair. It's always going to be those little bottom hairs that we want to feed into the clipper, but we got to keep going over that area. But actually executing where you can touch and go, it doesn't have that particular execution, but it's based off the knowledge that you have as it relates to understanding the performance of the tool. But those are definitely some of the benefits and pros and cons of using this particular device.
What do you think about all these cordless trimmers coming out? I know it was like innovative corded trimmers now. Cordless trimmers coming out. Cordless clippers are coming out. What are the things that you need to look for in a cordless trimmer or clipper?
Well, one of the things that I give into the understanding as it relates to a cordless trimmer, you're not going to get the power of a cord.
Sure, absolutely.
So you're not going to really get the exact desired results that a cord would give you. But in my further understanding and learning, and my background being an inventor, it's two different settings. A setting for a cordless is 10,000 micrometers, and a setting for a corded is 11,000 micrometers. So then you go into SPMs. The faster the blade cut, the faster the execution is. So you're not going to have a strong execution with a cordless than you would have with a corded tool, just based off of SPMs, the speed per movement. Then you have to go into understanding the lube on the tool. What I've done recently is started going into the synthetic blends. And what happened is the products that are not synthetic blends have a lot higher viscosity. So the lower the viscosity, the thinner the liquid is. So what happens is it actually allows this particular tool to perform a lot faster and actually do its job the way it's not totally necessary and needed to be done. But the corded tool is just based off, I use cordless based off of freedom. But actually, as it relates to power and execution, I definitely always use a cord.
To advise the young and the veteran barbers out there, what are the most important things to maintain a good trimmer to last long and also perform in the best way possible?
One of the things I say as it relates to having a trimmer last long and perform long, you got to be mindful that you have sweating clients. Because water, condensation builds up. A lot of times if you have a silver blade, you start to see it has a nickel or corroded look to it. And that comes from condensation from most products. The lube and clean that comes from an aerosol can. So anything that's concealed in pressure has condensation. So you're going to get water mixed with lube and cleaner. And that can limit the life of the long term of the tool. You want to make sure you have a minimum 3 outliners to use so you can transition in between tools. Because you're going to wear the outliners down if you're using one tool all day. A lot of times you have barbers that lube or oil the tool. They're not lubing it or oiling it enough times throughout a head cut. And what happens is that it's just like pistons in a car. The pistons sit right in the oil. But if you use this and by the time you go to the other side of the individual's head, it's bound to dry up. So you have to lube or oil that tool at least once, twice, and maybe 3 times in one client's head in order to keep that maximum performance and keep the viscosity of the lubing product low.
Great. And Morono, I really want to say thank you for coming here at Paul's Beauty Warehouse to really discuss about the innovative ideas and some of the advice that you give to everybody. And I want to say thank you for spending time with us. And thank you everybody for being part of our Paul's Beauty Warehouse channel.